Truthfully Speaking Grace is a global podcast dedicated to connecting, celebrating, and inspiring listeners with empowering conversations. Join host Agatha Corbin as she gracefully builds with real people, sharing real stories, and unlocking real enlightening truth. Welcome. This is Truthfully Speaking Grace podcast with your amazing host, Agatha Corbin, giving you real conversation with powerful topics and connecting with real inspirational people from all over the world. So sit back, relax, and let's get this podcast started. Hey, I'm so sorry. I thought it was Eastern Standard Time. I really did. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh
I thought it was Eastern Standard Time. I was like, okay.
Yeah, when I finally saw somebody mentioned it to my wife, and so I was like,
Welcome to Truthfully Speaking Grace podcast. This is the Black Love Matters series, number 2. And I'm here with my wonderful guest, Eric Ramsey of Team Ramsey Entertainment. If you go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience.
Hi, as she said, I'm Eric Ramsey of Team Ramsey Entertainment and Ramsey Security also.
Okay. And in this series, my heart was to do a series to talk to, particularly to the Black Love Matters from the male perspective, from the female perspective. It's going to be one of my shows. And then I'm going to have a show with married couples to talk about their flow in today's society with when it comes to Black love. I don't think we get enough positive highlights, in my opinion, to what Black love is, how it matters, especially after the long conversations I had with my young male sons and their friends, and then young females that I mentor. I just want to have a platform where they can feel comfortable to talk about what's going on in their life, what did they see, what would they like to see when it comes to Black love. So that's why I had someone of your caliber to be on my show, and I want to thank you. We're going to start off with one question. Do you believe love and commitment is still a Black man's end goal? Because end result.
I believe that 150%. I'm very committed to my wife. It took me a long time to get to that point, not to be committed to my wife, but to get to the point where I could commit to one woman and be okay with that and not having to, and I want to say this without, I used to like model, play pro football, and do a lot of other things. So I had a lot of attention from women. And so, but I had to get my mindset where that even though I'm getting all this attention, I need to give attention to one and only woman and not be all over the place. And so I finally found that, and I'll be honest with you, with your audience. I've been married a few times. I'm 52 years old. I've been married for a few times. So the first time when I got married, I said it was infatuation because I was 18 years old. The second time I called it immigration because I was with someone, but we really weren't together for that reason. The third time I thought I was in love, and that didn't work. So the fourth time is just I'm going with what the person that God told me to be with, and she's all those women wrapped up in one, and so I'm at that point now where that's all I want to be is with my wife and with her, and I don't have to look other places and everything. And the good thing about this time is that it's God-centered, and God is the head of my life.
Yes.
And he's in control of everything that I do as far as my relationship with my wife is concerned, and therefore I don't have to worry about, like one old girlfriend used to tell me, she said I would be in a relationship, then I'd be like, what's over there? What's over there? What's over there? So now I don't have to be. Only place I'd be or have to be is with my wife, and I only have eyes for her.
Good. But you believe, my second question is that what you experienced in your youth or when from your past relationships has grown you? You learn something from that,
Oh,
right?
definitely learned a whole lot from it, Agatha. I just know that there is a such thing as monogamy in a relationship.
Yeah.
I learned that, like I said, you don't have to be all over the place. I learned that, you can look, because she sees handsome men just like I see beautiful women. And so, but you don't have to go for them, because the person that you're looking for is right there with you. But they
Mhm.
have to also have that inner soul, an inner,
Mhm.
thing about them that makes you, love them, whereas if you don't have any makeup on, or she has, stinky breath or whatever, that, you still love her, and regardless, and it doesn't have to be I'm just so different from that guy. Let's say less than 7 years ago, 8 years
Mhm.
ago. I'm so different from that guy that I just see love and being married just totally different than I did several years ago.
So let's go back to several years ago for the single men and the single women. Do you think for our single audience that black men maybe look at dating and courting or going into marriage different in each decade? Do you see some difference, or it's just the same, but no one is being honest with one another? You know what I
I,
mean? What?
and I think that's, you hit the nail on the head when you say honesty.
Yeah.
I think going into any kind of relationship, I think for the most part, people they want to be honest, they want to be sincere, but a lot of times, just I think more so this decade, or this end of the spectrum, I think,
Mhm.
and as you get into your late 40s and 50s, your whole different dynamic change. Because the thing that says, when I was a child, I spoke as a child, but when I came a man, I put away childish things. So I think just as a general rule, once you get into your 40s, you got to stop playing those games, where you got, you're all over the place, and that was one of the things that I did. I was, what you call them, that H word. And then, but I just soon realized, as being a Christian man, that, you know he's not gonna continue to forgive me. Well, he will, because God is a very forgiving God. Once you confess your sins, he forgets. He don't remember it. But if you keep on doing the same thing over, then that's when you got a problem. So
Mhm.
I just started just taking on that same attitude about relationships. That, I mean, I'm using women. I'm telling one woman one thing, and telling another woman another thing, and that just wasn't fair to them. And then I had to be, because it always made it seem like I didn't love myself if I'm all over the place and telling people I'm
Okay,
giving.
let's stop right there. So you said you didn't think you loved yourself. So when you're looking at a lot of the men, black men that are going from, I say, from flower to flower to
Yeah,
flower
yeah.
to
What's over
flower,
here? What's over there?
you know, flower to flower to flower. Um, do you think a lot of it is on one spectrum, the way they view themselves, or that they don't think they can be good enough for one woman or for
Well,
that kind of
I
relationship?
think like, and I don't let me make sure I say that right now. I
Okay.
love myself to death. About me, yeah, I really love myself to death. But what I'm saying is that, when you act like that and you treat women a certain way, you make it seem like you don't love yourself, and you just feel like you can just women are just there at your disposal. And
Mhm.
as someone who loved women and loved myself, I just felt that I couldn't continue to do that. And that's what I think what happens with a lot of men. Initially going into it, we feel a certain way, and then we try to, a lot of things happen, and then eventually we just say, we can't continue to do this. And to answer your question, I really do think a lot of people, especially in my age bracket, just got to the point where they just want to do right and don't want to keep doing the same things, committing the sins of their youth.
Okay. Because eventually, so that answers my other question. You believe you're telling us, particularly in the male perspective, that courtship and getting to know and slowing down and really cultivating a relationship is something that a Black man want to do. I think
definitely.
because
And being from Alabama, I'm from Alabama.
yeah.
And being from Alabama, chivalry, even though I was, like I said, I was all over the place, I still was very chivalrous to each woman. Chivalry definitely wasn't dead. But being in a situation where you're dating so many women and you don't even know who they are, like I'll give you an example. I've been in a situation where like someone popped up on my feed one day, and and I kept saying, I know the name, and they were like, it's me. I'm like, yeah, but I don't remember being with me. And that's a ugly feeling. You don't
Oh
want to
wow.
feel like you don't remember the person that they would, and definitely that's not how I want to feel. I've used so many women and used my body and did so many different things that I can't even remember, being with a person because it was just so many, and so, and like I said, I'm a Christian man. I've asked God to forgive me for my sins, but just that whole thinking about that and feeling that way, it leaves an empty feeling that you don't, and you want to say, that you feel like you hurt other people, all just for your own satisfaction.
For your own satisfaction. Okay. Well, let's go back to looking out on how you view the Black females versus when you were young. Now you're middle age. What are some of the things or attributes that you see in the Black woman or Black females that we need to be looking at, or things that you believe most Black males are attracted to, not just physically? I'm talking about whatever that package is.
Well, first and foremost, Black women have to believe that they are the original queens. They are the queen, and that they have to be treated with respect, and they have to command respect from their men. My thing being in the professional arena, I find that a lot of men go against the Black woman once they obtain a certain economic status. They end up, and I'm saying to them, well, that's the same woman that that you were with before you got rich. So why now that she's no longer good enough for you? And so, and what I said to Black women is just remain strong, because you guys are the strength of the races, of all males, females. Black women are the strongest of all of us. And so I just tell you guys to continue to stay strong, stay beautiful inside and out, and just don't let nobody tell you any differently. And just know that that you're not, I mean, it ain't you're not being a certain way or being a bitch just because you stand for your conviction. You want to be treated right. So don't let anybody tell you that you're not the queen that you're meant to be.
So you're a father, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so what are you seeing? Because I know what I noticed now that, that I'm a mom, I'm a single mom, and I've had it. And I watch what I used to be, like you said, when I was in college, or then into my 20s and 30s, and my perspective of men and relationship. But now that God has allowed me to see that, forgiven me for what I've done, and became a new woman. You know what I mean?
Right.
We all gonna sin and come short of the glory of God.
That's right.
But
Amen.
it's so
Amen.
merciful to make us a new creature. And
Yes.
in that, I started to look at, the views of our young people with relationships. And a lot of my young ladies, and I'm gonna speak on the young lady side, I hear from my sons now that they're in their 20s, and they're pretty good. They're some good guys, educated, holding their own business, holding their stuff down. And some of their complaint was, well, mom, in this generation, the young ladies are so down and negative on us, and then they're not doing anything. They're not bringing anything to the table. Now it's been flipped.
Right.
So, that was another reason why I wanted to do this show, because I think to hear, and I wanted to be honest in these series of what is your perspective, and what do you see your kids may, or if they're young adults, or experiencing, you know what I mean?
Well, I have a 24-year-old stepson, and my wife has taught him to don't put women in situations that you wouldn't want to be put in at, and first and foremost. And then she told him, said, don't go having babies,
Yes.
just because. And then and just tell him, don't do anything basically until you know that you can be able to take care of yourself and the person that you're with. Then don't go and arbitrarily do something just to be doing it. And for the most part, he's pretty much has done that. And then we have a 17-year-old stepdaughter, that we just tell her, just be mindful of the boys, and that don't let them just think you're just a piece of meat, to do whatever they want to do. And so both of them have a pretty good head on them. And then my birth son, he's pretty he's not out there, and he's still live with his mother. So
yeah. Yeah, and that's why, again, I wanted to hear from your perspective. What do you experience from the past that you can say to your sons, and your daughter, just like I have to with my sons and daughters, and then me on the other side of life. Because like you said, we ain't no spring chickens, but I'm not also.
Right. No. But
in our generation, there's a lot of single people because of divorce or whatever. You know what I mean? And so how do we navigate now into the dating to courting? Because I'm finding that most grown men and women, we don't want to just date just to date. We are courting for a purpose, and that is marriage. And I just wanted to know if men still felt that way.
I think men do. But I think with this day and time, I think more people, especially with all the different things that has gone on, I think more people just want to be secure, first and foremost, in any kind of relationship that they're in. And then I know some younger people who are very focused, very good at being in a relationship, being married, being a family. And I know some people that are old, my age and older, that are horrible at it, and they can learn some lessons from those young people. But but to answer the initial question from the beginning, is that I do think that black men still have a certain feeling about black women, and treating them a certain way. And at the end of the day, they want to do right. They may not do right all the time, but for the most part, they want to be they're genuine, and they're trying to do the right thing.
Okay, well, let's talk about the black male perspective on communication, because a lot of my black males or men colleagues, being in the business world and community world, I worked with a lot of men, good, bad, or indifferent. I just did. And most men feel very comfortable communicating things to me, not disrespectfully, but just telling me truth.
I got you.
Or their situation and their thought. And so I want to hear, we share it to the world. What is the biggest hurdle when it comes to communication with a black male?
Well,
when it comes to communication,
you know what? It's the biggest hurdle probably is getting him to communicate. Period.
Yes. What is
open his mouth. Because a lot of times, we shut down, we hold things in. And I remember me personally, I would just let stuff fester and not say anything. And then once it got to the point where it is just too much on me, then I would blow up. And that's the wrong attitude to have, wrong attitude to take. And so I learned that I'm going to talk before things got bad. I'm going to express myself, say what I feel. And then another thing that I've learned recently is that it's okay to talk to someone about it. If you have a relationship that where y'all can say anything that y'all want to say to each other without, my thing with my wife Nicole and I, what we say is, there's rules of engagement. When you communicate, when you talk, and you have a disagreement, talk with respect. Be open to what the person has to say. Don't hit below the belt, because a lot of times you hit below the belt, you may go somewhere that you may not be able to come back from. And then like I told Nicole when we started, she said she gonna put stuff in her back pocket. I said, no, don't put it in your back pocket. Let's talk about it now. And so
Yeah.
we got to the point where she don't keep it in her back pocket anymore, and I don't hold things in. And then we've even, decided to have, go to coaching, where not counseling, but coaching, where someone can help us explain how to communicate in a relationship. And we have no problem with that. And we end up doing that, and then we made it a family thing, working with our kids as well.
Okay, so you believe in that coaching thing. So
Hey, yeah.
So, because I remember my father, I had a strong, Black father. I had I grew up with both my parents in the household,
Good.
opposite of what, my sons, who have great fathers, don't get me wrong. But, and my father was the strong Alabama, ex-military,
Yeah.
man's man. And I noticed his communication was, he was solid, was different, intense. And I always would look at how him and my mom, because I got my bubbly personality from my mom, who was talkative, good with the people, bringing the family in. And I just kind of watched that, but they made it work.
It was good for them though.
But I just always wanted to know is how do we get comfortable with communicating? And because how can we court and date and get to know each other if we don't talk, right?
Yeah. Well, you were able to get together, right? So if you got together, then the same way you got together, that's the same way you need to do in order to, when things get tough or get different, communicate. I mean, you're not going, you can't learn anything or learn anything about what the person is thinking or feeling if you're not speaking to them to figure out what's going on with them.
So what would make a brother shut down?
That's a lot of things. That's a lot of things. A lot of times if you say something that rubs in the wrong way, or if you do something that he didn't like, or if y'all out somewhere, there's he thinks you looking at someone else, or just there's a myriad of things that can make a person shut down. But regardless of whatever it is, like I said, the best thing to do is to communicate about it and speak your piece on it. So therefore it don't cause deeper problems, cause anything, because the marriage divorce rate is off the chain right now.
Yes.
So you want to stay as far away from divorcing as you can, especially if it's something that can be worked out.
Yeah. That's what I'm asking. So, it just seemed like it's so much easier that once you stop communicating, and I don't have to always agree with you.
Agree to disagree.
But you're saying something about respect. But also, I've just noticed that a lot of men, kind of have shut down or don't want to communicate. So as women, we get that question all the time. Well, why won't he talk? Why won't he communicate? Or how can I get him to feel like this is a safe place, or I'm a safe place to talk?
Believe it or not, too, though, that shutting down can be used as a defense mechanism as well. So a lot of times when they shut down, that's because they may not particularly know how to deal with the situation. And so the best communication for them is shutting down. So like I said, you have to just establish a relationship where there's open lines of communication, that nobody's going to be ridiculed, nobody's going to be disrespected or treated a certain way if they decide to bring out an issue or bring up something that they don't agree with.
Okay. Do you think, this is just to make it fun, do you think that most brothers like the woman that will bring it out with him, just be that matter of fact, or be that, we're going to talk about this, we're going to get this done?
Right. I can speak for myself. I've been in relationships in the past where the conversation just one-sided and is based on what the person feel or think, and you never get an opportunity to say what you really, when you do decide you're going to talk about it, they still cut you off and don't let you say what you want to say, but they beat and brought it up. I just think being able to just have a person that you're with, and the person got to be willing to and wanting to communicate and want to talk about it. Because at the end of the day, the goal is, if you believe in your relationship, the goal is to be as happy and friendly and open with each other as you can possibly be.
I
So,
always say gotta have a big sense of humor. If you have a big sense, you can laugh together. You can go
see
to
my
that.
wife, you hear in the background laughing right now?
Oh, what's her name? Robin?
Nicole.
Nicole,
Yeah.
I got you, girl.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
I can't see your beautiful face. Say hi.
Hi.
You have a good one, girl.
I got me a
You
good
gotta
one.
laugh together, right? You gotta be able to laugh together.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. She's
You know,
silly.
I
She
watched my parents do that. They laugh together.
Yeah, we find humor in a lot of things,
Okay.
including each other.
Yay. I think that's one of the things with
Definitely.
hi, lovely. You should have been on the show, but that's okay.
She'll come on the one when we do couples.
Okay, cool. Thank
Yeah.
you. Okay, we're gonna do the last one. My last question tonight would be what is the blackmail perspective when it comes to money? Because in my life, I was a banker. I was a mortgage banker. I've been a financial literacy counselor.
Right.
Which meaning I've had them all sitting in front of me in my past life.
I got you.
And the biggest issue with my couples was don't ever come to an appointment with me and your spouse not there. Because what I found out is if one don't know what the other one's doing with the money can be one of the biggest issues of divorce and arguments. Right. You know, other than the kids, is money. So how did you learn from your past with dealing with money and relationship?
Well, my thing is that it's I consider it our money. Even if I may be the breadwinner or the making more money, I still consider it, our money. And we just because I know at certain points in time in life or in relationship, one person may be at a different level financially as the other. But if you take on the role that it's our money, then you 9 times out of 10 you won't have those issues with finances, because I don't have a problem with paying stuff, or Nicole just finished school, so she went to LA Film School and graduated summa cum laude.
Yay!
And
girl.
So during those 3.5 years she wasn't working, and then a pandemic hit us. So instead of doing anything in film, that's nothing really going on. So security is like the thing now. Security is taking over a lot of the finances and everything. But I don't look at it and say, oh, that's my money, this your money. I just say whatever we need, whatever is going on, whether or not it's big, small, or whatever. And if I have it, then I'm just gonna pay it and keep it moving.
So in your dating and courting, though, was that something that you looked at?
Well, in our dating and courting, Nicole had a job making way more money than I did.
That's where I was headed.
And then, like I said, the roles just changed. And but I don't have a problem with the roles changing, because as a man and being in the home, I am the I look at myself as the official provider. Yeah. And that's not a problem. And then if I need something or she has money, that's one thing about Nicole. She's very unselfish, and if she has the money to pay for or whatever, regardless whether she's working or not, she's gonna pay it. Yeah. But I tell her she don't have to feel that way or feel like she needs to make up for not paying stuff, because I don't. I mean, it's okay if I got it. I got it.
Mm-hmm. So, it's a team effort.
Exactly.
But you didn't have a problem that, because that's another show for females, for us professional females, that was always a big question. Will a brother be okay if the woman is successful or making money, especially if she's used to always, as a single mom, you get used to taking care of things, because if I don't work or run my business, me and my kids don't eat, even though they're fathers, of course. So how to, where a man, I still believe in a man being, because again, my father was the same way. He took care of the home, as far as financially, and so did my mom. They worked, it was a team. But how do men feel about a woman having that kind of caliber or
if like I said, if I didn't have a problem with when it was the roles were changed, so it's not a big deal now.
Okay. You think it's all about respect, right?
That at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Okay. All righty. Well, is there anything else as when it comes to Black Love Matters that you want to talk about as far as the male perspective, that you think, little nuggets of information you think we need to know?
Well, I think me personally, I just say give the Black women, Black men, give each other the benefit of the doubt. Be respectful of each other. Society ain't always been the nicest to us, but we have to be nice to each other. And if we don't, before we decide that we need to go somewhere else, let's revisit the Black woman or the Black male before we decide to go the other person. You know what I mean.
Yes, I do. And don't you also think that we stop giving the Black males the bad rap all the time?
Stop giving us the black rap, because there are some good men that are like myself, and a lot of my friends that are very good men and love and appreciate what the Black woman has to offer.
All righty. Well, thank you for being on my podcast. I look forward to the couples edition. I will give you the dates and times for that, because I definitely want to keep this going and hear it at Black Love Matters on the couples edition. So, Nicole, get ready, girl. Get your questions and your answers ready for me. And
all right, dear. But thanks for inviting me. Appreciate it. And please let me know where I can get it, where we can show it and see it, and this along with the other one as well.
Yes, as soon as my editor is done, we're going to have it too.
And make sure you let people know about the LA Great Calendar again.
I've already put that out.
All right, dear. Thank you.
All righty. Thank you, guys. Have a good evening.
All right, you too. Be blessed.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Truthfully Speaking Grace Podcast. Stay tuned for another episode with more real conversations, celebrating real and inspiring people from all around the world.